Mr. Truck here with the new 2015 F450, and I'm here with David Ives.
Hello.
David, what is it you do? What's your job description?
Well, I'm with Ford. I'm a diesel technical specialist and design, develop, and release diesel engines. Specifically, this new 6.7 liter upgraded engine we've got for model year 2015.
It's Mr. Truck. Cool, and this has a new injection system and a new turbo.
Yeah, it sure does. This new turbocharger is larger, giving us another 40 horsepower and 60 foot-pounds of torque. Powers up to 440 horsepower, 860 foot-pounds, and our altitude performance is up by as much as 30%, which is more than a 10% in advertised ratings even. And this thing also features a new engine brake. We have a button on the dash that you push, and it gives you good controllability and confidence going down long grades without having to touch the foundation or the foot brakes. We also have new for 2015, we have this temperature sensor here, which allows us to best balance performance and durability, keeping everything within mechanical limits while delivering the ultimate performance for our customers.
And what this is, you say it's a 32 versus a 37. The new one's called a 37?
Yeah, that just refers to the size of the turbocharger. Our original 2011 came out with a GT32. We've moved up to the GT37, which is more of a commercial truck size turbocharger. We've also added enhancement to it, unique to Ford, that allows it to run 50 degrees C hotter exhaust temperature than the common commercial grade turbocharger, which gives us an added performance advantage over the competition.
50 degrees, that's quite a bit. Because most of these things get is what, 1400 degrees coming out the back end?
Yeah,
under exhaust?
We run about 1400 degrees F, and typically a lot of the competition is running around 1340, 1350.
And then the injection system is quite different too.
Yeah, new for 2015, we have a new advanced injection system that better atomizes the fuel. For better combustion, it extends the rich limit of the engine so that we don't have to run as much boost at part throttle, which gives us better fuel consumption than what we had before, and allows and facilitates using this larger turbocharger and maintaining, or in some cases, depending on the drive cycle, improving fuel economy over where we were before.
And to manage that extra torque, you've done something to the torque converter on this transmission.
We have. To improve our throttle response, we went to a higher stall speed torque converter, Kent, that gives us about 200 RPM more range before the load drops onto the engine, which improves the throttle response quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that would put you more into the power band, the torque band.
Yeah, basically lets the engine spin up before you put load on it, and improves launch feel.
Well, that's good. So basically what is improved since the 2011 launch over the larger turbo allows you to have the actual exhaust brake, which we're going to get to in a little bit, what the new name for that is. Yep. So, because the other one, I didn't think it did much, but this one I really was impressed with what it's done. Yep. And it's all about size. That's all it took to make that happen.
Size and specifying what's required, and then having the smart guys around to calibrate it to react seamlessly with the truck to maintain speed down long grades. So we have the capability with even up to 40,000 pounds gross combined vehicle weight that we can maintain 60 mile an hour down a 6% grade without having to significantly depress the brake pedal with your feet to maintain speed.
Well, that's what it's all about, is control coming down the hill. You want the confidence that the exhaust brake gives you, and that's such a plus for these diesels, especially with 40,000 pounds in combined gross. You're right. Half of a Class 8 truck, yep, which is a lot. Exactly. Now, we always know what the engine brake is. That's what the big rigs have, where they open up an exhaust valve, and they can run on 2 cylinders, 4 cylinders. We gotta wait for this to pass, but so they can control how many cylinders will actually do the engine brake. And then what we're used to on these pickups for the last decade or so, in aftermarket, has been a butterfly, which we always call an exhaust brake. It's like sticking a potato in the exhaust pipe. It reduces your back pressure, or creates back pressure, I mean, and that's what would slow you down. So you got an engine brake, and then you've got an exhaust brake. And now this, actually all three of you OEMs have their braking system in the turbo. So I'm going to call it the turbo exhaust brake. It's kind of in between the two, because it's not like a Peterbilt or a Cummins or the big boys, the big semis, and it's not like the old system we're used to with the butterfly. Right. And that's more an effective way to put it than to put it in the exhaust pipe.
Yeah, it is. It's more efficient, and it takes advantage of hardware that's already present to develop power when you're going uphill. We use those same hardware bits, the vanes and the turbocharger, to control the vehicle going downhill.
Okay, great. Now let's go talk about without adding cost. Right. That's always important.
Yep.
Let's go talk about the radiators. All right. I see all these radiators. Looks like a ton of them.
Yep.
You got high and low pressure, that's what they're called?
High and low temperature.
Oh, high and low temperature. I keep thinking it was pressure, but it's temperature. Okay.
So what we have here, kind of panning back from this a little bit, we have a cutaway chassis of an F350 King Ranch that kind of displays the cooling system. And when it comes to diesel engine performance and towing, cooling is critical to getting the job done. And on this system here, we'll just go through what you see here. You see 4 cooling systems, or 4 heat exchangers. You've got power steering on the front, the AC condenser to keep the passengers comfortable next, a low temperature loop radiator here, which has the charge air cooler, a fuel cooler, and a trans cooler on it. And then we have the high temperature radiator here, which cools the base engine itself and also is responsible for controlling the oil cooler.
Awesome. Well, that's great. It's nice to see one of these stripped down like this. You can see how they work, where all the components are. And it looks heavy duty. Thanks, David.
Yes, it does.
Big trailers. My goodness, this is a regular trailer convention here with Ford. Trying out all these 2015. My goodness. '15 F350 pulling a fifth wheel. This is about 12,000 pounds. We've got the 373 rear end, and we're in the King Ranch. The new colors, the new stitching in the console. This is the big deal here. And we finally are driving a Ford with an exhaust brake. It's real, it has a button. It works, we love it. Make sure all my buttons are on. There's one. And Tomo, I love Tomo being a stem. You can do this in the dark. You don't have to look for a button. You know where the shifter stem is. You just push the in, you're in tow haul. So we're going to fly down this hill and see how fast we can go. Actually holding me pretty good, right around 61 miles an hour. I'm up to, say, 2,800 RPM. Haven't touched the brake in quite a while. Of course, we got a runaway ramp, so we're okay. But no, this exhaust brake is working. I'm not working. It's holding me at 61 miles an hour, so we must be in about the right RPM band. It's all looking good. We're around a few semis here, and looks like this is the curve they want us to flip over on. No, the exhaust brake is working. It's nice to have a button that's dedicated to it, so you actually know that it's on. So this is an improvement. But no, we're going around a curve up here, and we're at 7% grades at building 2,700 feet, and this is doing really well. This exhaust brake is holding me right around that 61 miles an hour on 7% grade, which is pretty impressive. We're only hauling 12,000 pounds. This exhaust brake does hold it. So we've got an improvement from Ford with their new 37mm turbo, which they're saying the bigger mass gives you a better exhaust brake, where the 32mm didn't really do much. This is I-64 in West Virginia. No, I guess that guy's got his Ford truck blocking traffic for us. Anyway, we're pulling the same load, 12,000 pounds, with this dually 3500 Ram. And we're going to see how the smart brake works on this new exhaust brake that was out last year in the Rams. 2013, and play with it going downhill, then we'll come back up the hill. On this Ram 3500, this has I think this has a 4:10 axle ratio on it, pulling 12,000 pounds. And the exhaust brake, it's effective. And they've got two modes on the smart brake, two modes. The automatic, which will ramp up slower, a little less jerk to it. Exhaust brake, the full exhaust brake gives a little more back pressure. And it's doing well. These are all seem to work better at the higher speeds when you're on a really bad grade and you're 40 miles an hour. None of them work as well as they do at these higher speeds. From what I've seen, all these trucks ahead of us are slowing down, so they're all trying to hit that 45 mile an hour. We're up below that weight limit, so we can actually go to full speed limit here. You know, it's doing well. I'm noticing on the mirrors on this Ram, they reach out a little further than the Ford and the GM. Even though the near surface area is a little smaller, it actually has a little more reach. I can see further around the trailer side than I could in either the GM or the Ford.
I can see that now.
Yeah, I'm hoping the rest of them go a little wider, because that could be a big thing on mirrors. When you're pulling something that's 8 feet, 8.5 feet wide, you need help seeing around that trailer. This exhaust brake is working. From right now, what I can tell, the Ford looks a little more effective. We should have a few more options on this Ram with the auto exhaust brake, the auto brake. Now, in this Ford Media Launch, we're on to the third truck, which is a 2015 Chevy Silverado 3500. Pulling the same fifth wheel, same 12,000 pounds. See how it does down the hill with 5% grade for 5 miles at about 2,000 elevation, and we're going to be doing the uphill. See how the power is on it. See how this exhaust brake compares, and see how the acceleration compares. On our way back in West Virginia. We're coming down the hill. This is 7% grade, 5 mile run down here on Interstate 64 in West Virginia. And we're in the 2015 GM. This is the Chevy Silverado 3500. And the exhaust brake is working well. The grade shift's working well. I notice on this GM, if you do cruise control, it works the best that way, letting the computers do it all. More so than the other two brands. But it's doing well. It's actually holding my RPMs. I'm about, where am I? A little over 45. I'll get up to 50 miles an hour and hold it around 3,000 RPM. I don't know on GM what gear I'm in. They don't have the gear selector like the Ford and Ram do. But it's cruising right along. This likes to hold you at that 60 mile an hour speed. But I've got the tow mode, exhaust brake on. It's all working. But it, you'll hit the brakes a few times on this without using the cruise control. You won't hit it at all. So that's kind of how they set it up. They set it up to be an automatic system. It's not one that you necessarily would want to even run manually. It's not as efficient as it is with cruise control on. But that's going down. Then we're going to go back up the hill and see how the power is.
And it's on.
Well, we just climbed the hill. We were 2,675 feet, 2,765 feet to peak. And starting at the base, I had to keep slowing down. Speed limit was 70, and I wanted to go faster than the speed limit. So I kept at the speed limit, and the slowest I got down to using this new Ford with the new fuel injection, new turbo, was about 66 miles an hour, pulling 12,000 pounds with the 373 axle ratio. So that's kind of where we are. I was glad to see that they still have the turbo boost in the gauge cluster. I like that. See what the turbo's doing. I think my turbo at the peak there was about 26, 27 foot-pounds or pounds of boost anyway. PSI, I guess, pounds per square inch. So that's where we are, and it did really well. Now we're going to try the Chevy and the Ram pulling the same 12,000.
It's on.
Okay, now going up the hill, the 7% grade for 5 miles with this Ram 3500. I mean, it did well. The acceleration was great at the bottom of the hill. It just chugged along very fast toward the other end, and when we hit the heavy grades, the slowest it got was about 61 miles an hour. So it did bottom out a little lower than what the Ford was up that same grade. But I was impressed with the power going up, but it went up there to that certain point, about halfway up, when they all lose some power, and it's lost a little more power than the Ford did. But it seems like this weight, this 12,000 pounds, about right where the acceleration is good on this Ram 3500 with the Cummins diesel. So I'm not worried so much about the power, but you can tell there is a difference in horsepower and torque coming up this hill where my slowest speed was slower on the Ram. GM does really well climbing a hill in their mid-range power. It's, like your passing gear, it really holds the power well, running, in that 2,500 RPM range. It just flat out goes. And it's really interesting because, Ford's faster off the line, Ram is faster at the end of the race, but they all have their little different things. And GM, you can just about pick up acceleration anytime once you're rolling. Ford's better when you're first starting, they'll take off faster, but GM has that excellent power range. That's what we're seeing here. Right now, we're still holding over 65. We'll see what our slowest speed is and how that compares to Ram and Ford.
Ram,
But,
you were getting up to 61.
Yeah, well, that's the slowest speed we got, was 61 with Ram. We were 66 with Ford. And now we're going to see what our slowest speed is coming up that same 7% grade for 5 miles with this Chevy 3500. So we're dropping now, so it would be about one more curve and we'll know what our slowest speed is. This is where things get tough. But they all three diesels, they have their own little sweet spot and they react differently to what you're at. And this one here, we're getting right down to 61 too. It's going to be neck and neck with Ram for second place here. Yeah, it might be a tad slower, getting closer to 60. Yeah, I think this GM right there, when it got a little, steady with that 7% grade, we started losing power. And we came up that same hill. Our slowest speed was about 59 miles an hour. So we got doing the same run, same load, 12,000 pound RB fifth wheels. We were running at the low end is GM at 59 miles per hour is the slowest it got on that run. The Ram got to 61 miles an hour and Ford was at 66 miles an hour. So that's the spread for how well their torque held their speed. So that's interesting, and that's a pretty good test, 7% grade. Even though it was only 5 miles, we'll get longer runs later on, but there you have it. Okay, Mr. Truck here at this media launch of the 2015 Super Duty. I'm here with John Davis. We're going to talk about suspensions and frame. John, what is your job description with Ford?
Yeah, sure. I'm the chief engineer for commercial vehicles for Ford.
Okay, so you do all the heavy duty stuff.
Yeah, I've got Super Duty and E-Series strip chassis and our medium duty trucks as well.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, you do all the big stuff. Now, tell me this. Is that E-chassis, what the box vans have, the ambulances have, the RVs, is that still going to be in production now that you have that new Trans something?
Yeah, the new Transit is going to take over our van and wagon business.
Okay.
And of course that provides a lot of flexibility versus what we've had for the outgoing Econoline vans and wagons. But we're going to continue on with the strip chassis and the cutaways, E350, E450, because that's still in the heavy duty areas all up to class 4, and we'll continue on with production for that.
Well, that's great, because I know the RV industry needs you. They're running out of people in that class, especially the Class Cs. I know you do the bigger ones too, but yep. That makes sense. Well, my question on these frames, you're the only one left that's C-channel. And I understand C-channel is like a semi, they flex, all that torque has to go somewhere, so the energy is released. But are you still going to stay with the C-channel, and you're not going to go to a box frame like the competition?
Yeah, for right now, it's a great balance, right? We still get a lot of strength and capability and durability out of the frame, but yet it's the right business case for us. We don't think we need more than that to carry the heavy loads. Obviously, as we took you guys through today in our trailer tow comparison, we've got class-leading trailer tow capability still with a C-channel frame. And we, of course, still run it through our Built Ford Tough durability testing, and it's the right balance and right blend for us.
Well, yeah, that's what I see. I see it needs to flex. It needs to be able to move around. It's not quite like a sports car where you're trying to tune the suspension all the time. And I see them on semis, and you'll see them double framed. I've even seen 4 C-channel frames riveted together on the big trucks. So I think it's important.
Local reinforcements and obviously the right cross members in the right place to balance all that load and carry it appropriately. So you really got to have the right design methodology as you go through and work it as an integrated system from chassis, suspension, and powertrain all working together.
Oh, sure. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of equipment to test that. Another thing about suspension, Ram has gone to an air option on their heavy duties, and they've got it, you can get it in their half tons all the way through. And semis have had it for a long time, and the Hotchkiss leaf spring you have is 100 years old. Yep. Have you any plans to change the rear suspension?
Well, we keep looking at refining and improving it. So, and again, you guys got a good chance to drive many of the Super Duties today. We spent a lot of time tuning around it. So it's not just picking the frame, but also working through the shock development and trying to find that right blend. We think it does a great job to balance the loads that we're trying to carry and yet provide great ride for the customer.
What I noticed is this year you've gone to the staggered shocks on the back, so that's something new. So that's no future plans right now of changing the Hotchkiss leaf spring system?
Well, we'll always look at new things, of course. We'll never reject great ideas, but we think this is a great setup that works for us right now in the Super Duty.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, that's what's going on for 2015. Thanks.
Thank you.
So that's what it's set at. It's 15% right now.
I believe so.
That sucks for SAE. I mean, these bigger trailers, they should be 20, 25. That's what they were, 20.
This may be 20. The guy I call is driving, so he can answer his phone. So when we get to turn around, we'll ask him because he did all the trailer weight.
Yeah, because I know that SAE was a 2807 standard, the J2807. They were lowering the tongue weight, which didn't make any sense to me at all. I'm not sure who's on that committee, but they needed talking to, because I'm in the horse industry, and a lot of the LQs that I know of are 25, 28%, which is really high, and which would a toy hauler might be closer to that too, an RV. But if you look at an RV trailer, their axles are in the middle. They're like a teeter-totter. Where the rest of the world, horse trailers, cargo trailers, these flatbeds, the trailers are a third from the back end of the trailer. So you've got more tongue weight on this kind of a trailer than you would an RV, even if they weighed the same.
But you also don't need all the tongue weight in order to maintain stability, because the wheel is so far back.
No, but I mean, you don't need it. But if you've got a heavy trailer, you're going to end up with it. This trailer's going to have a lot. If you had a 30,000 pound RV, which you can't find, you'd have a lot less tongue weight than what a trailer like this would have. So why they lower the tongue weight? In the RV industry, it's not that important. Why would they care? So I can't figure out who on that committee cared to screw us up on a tongue weight. Realistic tongue weight's not 15% on a fifth wheel or a gooseneck. So take care of that, will you?
I'll work right on it.
Well, it's nice to see you guys found a straight road. I tell you, coming from the airport, I don't think we ever went straight for a quarter of a mile. It was just curve. So this has got the new turbo and new injectors, and then we went back in time to 2008 and got the 19.5 tires, 12 ply, 10 lug. So
these are 10 lugs.
Yeah, it used to be 8. This is what they were in 2008. This is what the 450 was. It was about the only pickup truck you could buy that could legally haul a Lance camper, those big Lance slide outs. And then in 2011, somebody thought that the speed limit in Texas wasn't high enough. They needed to make these go faster. So they went to that was the excuse they gave us. That was when they went back to 17 and 10 ply and kept the weight rating the same, even though it wasn't the same truck. And now they're back to the heavy duty trucks they should be.
What's a 12 ply tire cost you nowadays?
I suppose they're $200 at least. Yeah, most of these pickups have 10 ply and E rating. These are, I guess that'd be an F rating, wouldn't it?
Now the axle you've got is different than what you used to have.
Is this a 430?
430, yes. That's 130X.
All right.
Yeah, 130. You guys had what, a 110 Dana for a while? Is this a new Dana?
Oh, this is actually out of the heavy duty. They were going to, we were looking at a hybrid axle at a 110, but
yeah,
stuck with the 130.
Now, is this limited slip? You guys don't have the E-lockers anymore, or this one always had limited slip? Rear end?
This does not have an E-locker.
Okay.
No, it's limited.
Now, why did you, I've been doing a lot of 250s with E-lockers. I thought that was great. Just push a button engage instead of waiting for a wheel to spin, or, I'm, with the ranching horse guys, when we get out in the middle of a sand creek, you're engaging that clutch a lot, and you can wear them out,
I don't believe the
rough
E-locker
country.
mechanism is available in this heavy axle.
Okay. So what is the boost range on this? How high does this new turbo go?
It does not go much higher than the other one. You're up around 20 PSI.
Okay. Nothing like what the 6.4 did. It was really high. It was in the high 30s, I think.
Yeah. It takes a lot of fuel to make that boost.
Yeah. So this exhaust brake should hold me at 50. I'm at 50. Let me tap down to 45. Now we've checked our brakes. We know we're safe.
Yep.
Up here, these are the Appalachian Mountains. Is that
It
what they're
won't
called?
hold you at it's at about 55. You'll have to tap down to get into 50 or something.
I put it to 45. It's in
Well,
third gear.
It won't hold it.
It won't hold it?
You
Well,
can't
what's
hold
up
this
with
brake.
that? Oh,
What's
really?
that?
It won't, because we're about 3,400 RPMs. Red line's what, 3,800 RPMs?
It'll upshift automatically at 4,000. So when you get up to about 3,800, 3,900, just tap the brakes down, let it go, and come back.
Okay, well, it has to be below 3,000 before it'll grade shift.
No, quite a bit below 3,000 because you're in what, third right now? Yeah.
I'm in third,
Yeah,
so
to get to
these.
second's a long way.
Okay.
So if you want to drop it to second, it'll hold it to second, but it's kind of a slow speed.
Well, I want this thing to do its own work automatically. That's what I want to see. That's what everybody's going to be doing.
This does not have the auto feature that holds the speed automatically.
Well, yeah, but the exhaust brake, I'm not pushing on the gas. The exhaust brake should know to help me out a little
It's
here.
giving you maximum braking right now.
Is there a turbo? See, where's the turbo boost on
Right in the
this?
upper left gauge.
Okay, I see it. Well, I'm glad you at least got a gauge so we can see what's going on here. So we're holding up against maximum turbo. We're holding up, we will be at maximum RPM. You know, on the GM, their Duramax, they actually defuel it so they can get clear up to 4,400 RPM.
You're defueled right now.
I'm defueled here.
Anytime you're pedal off in any of these, you're defueled.
Really?
Anything above 1,300 RPM or so, there's no fuel.
Okay, so how can you get, GM lets the RPMs run, make it a big air compressor.
Right.
To
They let
hold
theirs
us.
run up to about 4,400.
Yeah.
Somebody told me 48. I don't believe it. I don't think they're going to hold
Well,
you.
I've had them to 45, and that's about it.
That's spinning pretty quick for that engine.
See, we shoot right back up to 52, so you would have to use the brake quite often on this grade. I was hoping you guys, because that was the problem when you guys had the pretend exhaust brake from 2011 on. You had to brake and brake and brake and brake.
You brake this less than you brake the Dodge.
Yeah,
About
yeah.
half as much.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's what you guys were missing in the equation was the exhaust brake. I'm so glad you guys have it now. Because that's, in the mountains,
You're
it's really
2,400
important.
pounds heavier than the Dodge you're going to drive.
Oh, at gross weight?
Right now, you're 2,400 pounds heavier than the one in front of you.
Okay, that's right, because we are on the heaviest one, so we're heavier than anybody
So
right
you're going to
now.
drive a Ford and a Dodge that have the same weight trailer. This has got 2,400 pounds more than both of those.
Yeah.
Now, if you lock it down to second, do it down the hill, it'll hold the speed without a problem.
And it won't overwrap, it won't go past the rev limiter if I
Yeah, but
put
it'll
it
be awfully slow.
Oh.
You got to get down to second.
Yeah, I don't want to go that slow. I can't drive that slow.
That's the thing. If you're going like 25, you'll be happy. But most people don't want to go down this grade at 25.
Well, let me see what that does, because if we go manual shift,
Can you hit the hazards in the middle there, please?
Okay.
Right below. There you go.
so,
Just
Put it in
progressive range
M.
it. You don't have to. You can just progressive range it down to second.
oh really? Okay, I'm in second right now.
Then you're actually losing speed.
Yeah, so in third gear, how fast will it let me go? It'd be, what, 55, 60? What would it go in third?
Yeah, third it gets you about 58 miles an hour.
Okay. Really, I don't have to go into manual mode. I can just downshift it to
Yeah,
second.
progressive range select. It shows you the gears available.
Yeah.
Now, so what you want to do is toggle it down to the minus button until all the 6, 5, 4, and 3 disappear. And then then you're not allowed to go out of second unless you
Oh,
overrev the engine.
so by going to minus gears, if I do minus now, I'll go to first,
No,
right?
you won't. Watch you're not in manual mode, right?
Right.
So get to
Okay.
the minus and watch the display.
Oh, cool.
There you go. So the orange is the gear you're in, and the rest of the gears are available.
Okay, well, that's awesome. That's like what Ram did that. When did you guys do this progressive shift?
2011.
Really?
Yeah.
I must not have paid attention then.
It's been there the whole time. Part of the problem was that people didn't know that you could turn the display on.
Yeah, well, I knew how to turn it on, but I didn't know this is how you selected it down.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So the highest gear I can never go in is second. That's good. That's interesting. Or if I switch to manual and put it in second, it also lock me in second, right?
It'll lock you in second unless you overrev the engine.
Okay, but here it won't even let me do that. It won't let me overrev the engine.
Yeah, well,
okay.
if you actually were on a steep enough grade, overrev the engine, I should say.
Okay.
You can't fuel on overrev the engine. You have to be going down a grade.
Well, that's interesting.
So you got to get the gears
45.
back. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, by using the brake, that gets the gear back then?
Yep.
Well, yeah, it's grade
Oh, well.
shifting.
Yeah.
Now, if you shut the tow haul off, it won't grade shift anymore?
Correct.
Okay, because I know some vehicles still do. It's just not as aggressive. The RPMs
Well,
are
now the
different.
problem you get into is what does the customer want and expect, right?
Yeah.
If he doesn't have tow haul on, a lot of them don't expect it. So we kind of struggle with, we know what's going on, there's a trailer, but the truck doesn't necessarily know, nor do we know what the customer wants to do. So we kind of err on the side of maximum customer flexibility. So you can turn on the exhaust, engine brake, you can turn it off. You can turn on tow haul, you can turn it off.
Okay.
Actually, if you turn on the engine brake with tow haul off, it will do some grade braking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can pull it over to M and do everything you want on your own.
Right. We're set at 7.5 on the gain. I didn't check before it was 8 last time I looked at it. Let's see. I love these knobs for the fan. I can actually tell what I'm doing. We're 69 degrees. You can set yours, Bruce, wherever you want to be. Oh, they're taking off quickly.
Oh, you're fine.
Let's
Don't wait
see.
for you to-
I don't like on this Ram is that the tow mode, which is no big deal, it's not on the stem like it is on GM and Ford. You gotta find it over here,
Yep.
and it's in tow mode, and exhaust brake is on.
There are indicators in the cluster as well. You just got to
Yeah.
look for them.
Yeah,
But it says it's got a hammer tow haul light, and then I don't know
Right.
if you're in. Yeah,
I'm
you're
in full exhaust brake.
So you know
Yeah,
the difference between the full
yeah,
and the- okay.
yeah. Yeah, last year I really liked the Ram auto brake for the exhaust brake, the smart brake.
Yep.
And actually, I'm liking the Ford one, this one. And this one sounds like a real trucker. You can hear the exhaust brake even at low RPMs.
This one, yeah, and it's very. What's the word I'm looking for?
2014 Ram 3500. Crew cab dually. So this is the highest, I guess, gross combined weight rating for Ram in a crew cab 4-wheel drive configuration. So I think this one is actually, you could tow 28.8 with it, 28,800. So this is the closest one to your 450, and they're both 14,000 GVW. This Ram 3500 and the Ford F450 are both 14,000 GVW. So they're pretty well matched, even though you guys want to call yours a Class 4 and they call yours a Class 3, huh?
That's correct. Yep.
And not even a pound separates them. They're the same GVW. Yeah, this has got the sound, if you like the trucking sound.
If you like the sound, it's
Yeah.
definitely- ours doesn't have the capability of making the sound. It certainly has the capability of performing, but just not the sound.
Yeah, I've noticed that the GM and the Ford are really stealthy, and this one here, you feel like you're in the big one.
So
And that's how the Cummins is. The Cummins is a different sound too.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
hardly hear either one of the GM or the Fords anymore now with diesels. Oh! There we grade shifted. We went down. We're in tow mode, exhaust brake, and we're still holding 55 miles an hour.
You hit the minus button on your.
Oh, yeah, let me
tell
do
you
that.
what
Yeah.
year you're in.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're in fourth, and you will get a third gear shift right about 44 miles an hour.
Oh, we're gonna pull over just to give them some hope. Look at those guys neck and neck back there. They're both going to team on us. Look at that. They're like NASCAR. Should we block them, Bruce? Should we block them back?
I'd block them. I'd go fast.
See if
Turn
I
to
can-
the left, let some bricks go out in front of them.
Yeah, we're ahead of the fast one right now.
Let the bricks fly.
Yeah, we're getting down to 50 miles an hour. Oh, and there's a semi coming, so we are going to block them.
Yeah,
This
you
is
get
our-
logger up here.
Yeah, this is our
See a lot of
chance.
log
This
trucks
is,
around here.
yeah.
They cut a lot of wood.
Well, they are. These mountains are like covered in trees. In our area, we got more rock in Colorado. Oh, come on, go!
Right about
44.
there. There you
Oh,
go.
we're making them go to the outside lane. Oh man, you want the video? I guess it doesn't matter. He's on the left side, but you can do whatever pictures you want.
Here he goes.
Ha ha ha!
So there's our equivalent.
Yeah. Well, it took him a while. We gave him a run for about 2 miles. Oh, now the other Ford thinks he's going to sneak right up here.
That's a lot of
screaming.
noise.
Yeah, we're about 28. Some of that's fan.
Yeah, that is the fan kicking in.
They just think they're so cool taking pictures of us back here. Well, I'm surprised we got up to 80 before we did the hill.
What gear are we going into now?
We're fourth.
Yeah, that was the 4th gear shift.
And even if we floor it, we're not going to catch them.
Oh, we haven't taken our foot off the foot feet since we left the
Oh, you mean it's
on-ramp.
pedal to the metal?
Yeah, we're wide open throttle.
We're all pedal to the metal here. We can't get to the speed limit with the loads we got.
Yeah, we're going 45. That's what I tell them. We tell them that we thought the speed limit was 45, so we had to back up.
That's right. Line set. It's because more horsepower and more torque, they can blow this away.
Yep.
Of course, those are 430 rear ends, and this is a 410.
Yes. That's
So they got a little more power off the line, but at high speeds, road speeds, we should have an advantage, by gearing, but they've got more torque.
correct. Yeah, and they don't offer a 430 either. I mean, this is their tallest offering.
Right.
This is our tallest offering, and our 450 is only a 430.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't get anything lower than that.
So what the cab and chassis get down to the, what are they, 455s or what are they? And you get them lower in the cab and chassis.
Chassis cabs for, what is it? You get it to 488.
488, okay. So this only comes in a 4-wheel drive crew cab 430 rear end,
Yeah,
not this
our
one.
450
The
is
Ford
pretty
450
much-
does.
Yeah, it's only trim level you're changing. You
Yeah.
automatically get crew cab, 8-foot box, and 4x4.
Now am I getting off here or we're going back to the
No,
gas
you're
station?
Going back to the gas station. Really want the heavy hauler Ram. It's really their regular cab, short frame vehicle.
Right,
Lightest
2-wheel drive,
offering,
yeah.
Lightest offering.
Yeah, and that gets you to what, around 30,000 pounds, maybe a hair over.
Yep.
And you're at 31,200
31.2
on the F450.
with
That's
the bigger,
the-
with the bigger, heavier truck.
Right, and your combined weight, the combined, that's 40,000. That's
40,000.
a big number. Somebody thought the Texans needed to pass everybody 85 miles an hour.
We listened to our customer. They wanted to go fast.
Yeah, but you really so you decided you could go above the speed limit, and that's where you should market that truck to the people who are driving above the speed limit because the tires weren't rated for whatever they are. What are they now? The Continentals, are they, is there a speed rating on them? Are they Z rated or what are these
They're
new?
87 rating.
87 miles per hour. I got to remember that. 87. See, and then Texans are going to 190 next.
Well, that's why we went to the 17s, because that's actually a 95 rated tire.
Right. For all the illegal Texans, you guys changed the whole truck.
Well,
What kind
I'm
of-
sure marketing knows all that kind of stuff, right? But from what we hear, Texas is our biggest market, right?
Yeah, but what percentage of those Texans drive over the speed limit? That's the next question.
That's a good question.
Because I know people in Colorado that drive 80 all the time on 75 miles an hour, but,
What's the speed limit there?
75. Most of the western states, except for California now, are 75.
75.
Even Kansas and Nebraska are 75. That's tough. I mean, I go to California, I'll drive through Colorado 75. I'll drive through Wyoming 75. I'll drive through Utah. I'll drive through Nevada. I get to California, all of a sudden I'm supposed to be 55 miles an hour with the trailer. It's incredible. It drives you nuts. And you get hung up behind a bunch of semis and you're going 20 miles an hour for miles and miles in California.
So publications, what publications are you guys writing for? I saw you're Mr. Pickup, is that right?
MrTruck.com.
Mr. Truck, sorry.
Yeah, I help PickupTrucks.com, and then I help, the Roman with FastlaneTruck.com and do videos, and then I write all the truck articles for Farm Journal magazine
Oh, okay.
and Fence Post magazine, and then, so a lot of the horse farm stuff. Then I'm on RFD TV 5 times a week. You ever heard of RFD TV?
Oh, yeah.
I do the
Yeah,
Equestrian
the
Nation.
rural channel.
Right, yeah, I'm on Equestrian Nation 5 times a week
Are you
with
really?
truck reviews, trailer reviews, accessories.
I'll have to look for it. We watch
Yeah,
it every
Mr.
once in a
Truck.
while.
Yeah.
I live in a rural area back in the Detroit area.
Yeah, Equestrian Nation's #1 of all the horse shows on RFD TV.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
These trailers?
10,000.
10,000. Okay, we got a baby trailer.
Oh, wait, I gotta remember that stuff. So we got 10,000 pound trailer. Is it loaded or just? I mean, is
It
there?
does have load in it, yes.
Okay, 10,000 pounds on a car trailer. And this is the 2015 F250. Is this a diesel?
This is a diesel.
Okay, we got a baby load on this puppy.
Okay, they're all the same diesel engines.
6.7s, yeah.
Yeah, but now what do we produce in horsepower and torque here?
They produce same 440 horsepower, 860 pound-feet of torque.
Okay. What about the? Oh, here we got it right here. What about
Yeah.
our ratios? Okay, we got.
Is this a 373 in this
There's
one?
a 355.
Oh, a 355.
Electronic locking axle, transmission power takeoff provision. What are we talking about there?
Yeah, so that allows you, there's a single-sided PTO or power takeoff, and that would allow you to put on an accessory. Maybe you're driving some other item,
Yeah.
some piece of equipment or something, where you literally can take the power off of the transmission.
Yes.
It allows you to basically extend the use of your truck depending upon
Alright.
what your needs are.
Okay, now it's got upfitter switches.
That's
Are-
these
Yep, those
here
aux switches
for your
down
snow
at the
plows
bottom
and
center
such.
Yeah.
Those are nice. Those fused, what, 30 amp or they 50 amp? They're fused really high.
They're at least 30 amp. Yep.
Okay. And who do we have for our engineer in the back there?
I'm John Davis. I'm
John
the
Davis.
chief engineer for commercial vehicles for Ford.
Oh, cool. We got
Yeah.
the big guns with us
Yeah.
today.
If you buy a chip for this, obviously Ford isn't selling it, but can you get it aftermarket?
Well, I have no doubt that there are probably some people selling them. We don't recommend you use them because we want to make sure that the control strategy for the engine and the transmission are all well matched. If you buy some aftermarket chip, you don't know really what they've done to it.
Well, goodness, whatever that is it 860 torque and 440 horsepower?
Yes.
It's hard to really imagine needing a whole lot more than that. I'm sure they're going to keep going up and up, and the race will never end until we are all at 1,500 foot-pounds of torque, and we're just little Peterbilts with 8-foot beds on them. So tell us about the 2016. Is it really going to be aluminum sheet metal?
2016.
Super Duties.
So the only thing we've announced is our F-150 for 2015 is all.
Right, but what? So what's going on with 16?
Still going to make Super Duties.
Give us some breaking news, man. We need a breaking story.
We don't give out breaking news.
Oh, well,
Unless we give it out all at once.
now this 3-inch ball thing that's going on, that's going to be an option on the 450
For the Max.
for the gooseneck. Yeah.
When we provide it, actually we'll provide both. So you get the larger ball and the smaller ball.
So the socket will have some kind of sleeve on it, or how does that work? Or are you going to just? I guess the base would be the same size. You'd have
Right.
2 different tops. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I saw in that one that new adapted, thing for the safety chains was new and took up all the pucks on the
If I turn
outside.
this to the right.
No, it's just the button to the left of that is the brake. And so
Yeah.
there should be a little indicator in your cluster.
Yeah.
A little yellow light that
It
comes on.
says tow on there, and it's on.
Well, that's tow mode. Then that's exhaust brake. You should see a
I
little
see
butterfly
it.
looking
I got
thing.
it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I should dial it in anymore.
No, it's just on and off.
Okay.